Hi, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm actually going to be making two dishes. So our main dish is going to be a sushi bake. This is one of my favorite dishes. It's really easy to make and it's really versatile. You can pretty much put anything you want in it. And for dessert, I'm going to be trying out some treats that I've seen all over the place. I've seen these all over the internet. One of them is one of those viral TikTok dessert treats. Both are going to be made with Greek yogurt. We're going to try it together to see how good it really is. All right, let's start with making our sushi bake. And first I'm going to show you everything you're going to need for that. Okay, for the sushi bake, you're gonna need cooked rice. I'm just using white jasmine rice. You can use any kind of rice you want. You can even use brown rice for this. I went ahead and I cooked this, so it's cool. I did not use a rice cooker for this, and you don't have to. I will link directions on how to cook rice without a rice cooker. We're gonna need some kewpie mayo and some sriracha. Instead of using this combination, you can also use spicy mayo if you want. You can use regular mayo and you can leave out the sriracha. I have 4 ounces of cream cheese. So this is a half a block of standard block of cream cheese. And I've left this out to soften at room temperature. We've got some Furikake. So this is the seaweed mixture that we're gonna put on the rice. For the toppings, so for the garnish, we have sesame seeds, we have an avocado, green onion, and cucumber. And again, all of these things are optional, so you can omit the avocado if you don't like that. And of course, we have seaweed. So this is gonna be that finishing touch, and this is what we're gonna use to eat it. We also have about a pound of imitation crab meat, and we have also about a pound, close to a pound of salmon. This is good. We're gonna put this on top. But you could also, instead of salmon, you can use a different kind of fish, or you could use shrimp or shrimp tempura if you wanted to as well. We're also going to use some rice vinegar that we're going to mix, and some sugar that we're going to mix in with the rice to make it sushi rice. And I'm also including a sweet, spicy sauce for the top. And again, you can put any type of sauce you want on the top. This one I really like. It gives it a little bit of spice. And it's a really great match to put on top to garnish. I'm gonna start by making my rice. So I already have the rice cooked, but I'm going to mix the vinegar mixture that we're gonna mix in to make it sushi rice. So I have a 1/4 cup of rice vinegar. And to this, I'm gonna add a 1.5 tablespoons of sugar and a teaspoon of salt. Then I'm gonna wanna mix this together. I want the sugar and the salt to dissolve in the vinegar, so it won't be grainy when we mix it in with the rice. So I'm gonna leave this for a few minutes and wait for it to fully dissolve. And while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to preheat my oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, our vinegar mixture is ready to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to pour it into the rice and I'm gonna mix it in. Okay, I'm gonna take the rice and I'm gonna pour it onto a 9x14 pan that I have greased. I've oiled it with a little bit of sesame oil. You can use any type of oil you want. Sesame oil is just gonna give me that flavor that I like. And I'm gonna spread that on the bottom. If you need to go in and use your hands, you can do that. Make sure your hands are wet. It's gonna be pretty sticky. Once I've spread that out in my pan, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna set that aside. So now I'm gonna make my crab mixture to put on top of the rice. So first I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna chop up my crab. I want it to be broken up into tiny pieces. So the meat it'll shred pretty easily, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut it, chop it up so that way it shreds up really, really nicely. Don't need to cut it up too much. It will break apart pretty easily into small pieces. But I just want to give it a head start. Next, I'm gonna put the crab into a large bowl. And I'm gonna wanna mix in the cream cheese and about 1/3 to 1/2 cup of kewpie mayo, or spicy mayo or regular mayo, and if you're using that. And now I'm gonna add a little bit of sriracha. Again, you can certainly leave this out. I'm gonna add maybe a teaspoon or a tablespoon. I'm just gonna eyeball it. Just a little bit to start. I don't want it too strong, and I can always add more, but I can't take it out. And we're just gonna mix this up. And as you start to mix it up, you're gonna break up some of those crab pieces so it'll be nice and shredded. Have our crab mixture mixed together. And to the rice, or on top of the rice, I'm just gonna add some furikake. This is gonna give it that nice flavor. I would say we're adding about maybe a quarter cup, but you can add as much or as little as you'd like. So just layer that on top of the rice. And then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna layer the crab mixture on top of that and spread that around. Okay, now we have our crab mixture layered on top of the rice. Now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut up my salmon. I'm just gonna cut this up into chunks. Our salmon cut up, and I'm gonna just go ahead and I'm just gonna lay it across the top of our crab mixture. Again, you don't have to use salmon. I just happen to really like salmon. And we don't need to worry too much about it being sushi quality salmon because we are going to bake it, so it will be cooked. Okay, and on the top of this, before I put it in the oven, I'm gonna just put another dollop or two of the kewpie mayo, or if you're using regular mayo. And a little bit of the Sriracha, just to give it a little bit of color. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pop this in the preheated oven for about 15 to 20 minutes. I'm just looking for that salmon to be cooked, which shouldn't take very long at all. As that's in the oven, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to cut up my cucumber and my green onion and my avocado for the garnish. Okay, we have all of our toppings ready to go. We've got our avocado, our green onion, and our cucumber. Again, you can replace these or omit any of these if you don't like them. And when it comes out of the oven, I'm also going to garnish it with some sesame seeds and a little bit of this sauce. Okay, it's been about 20 minutes and our sushi bake is done. It's ready to go. I just put it in long enough for the salmon to just be cooked. If you are not using raw fish, just put it in long enough to warm it and get it a little bit crispy, no more than maybe 10 to 15 minutes. So I cut up some pieces of seaweed. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna serve this up. We're gonna take a little bit of the rice mixture, get everything in there. I'm gonna garnish it with some sesame seeds. And then some of our garnishes. So green onion, avocado, and some cucumber. And it's ready to eat. Enjoy. Thank you so much for joining me for dinner today. And now it's on to dessert. So first I'm gonna kind of show you what items we need to make these desserts. First off, I'm gonna need some strawberries. You can also use blueberries for these, but I'm gonna pick strawberries. Then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna chop these up. A sweetener, I'm using honey. You can use any type of sweetener that you want. Greek yogurt, of course, and I'm gonna use some chocolate that I'm gonna melt. This is just semi-sweet chocolate chunks. Okay, so the first step is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get these washed and chopped up, and I'll meet you back here after I do that. Okay, so I have my strawberries nice and chopped up, and I'm gonna split this between the two recipes. So I have about a cup of chopped strawberries per recipe. And the first one's gonna be more of a bark. This one I've seen all over the place and it looks really, really good. Really simple to make and also really versatile. So we're gonna be using chocolate and strawberries, but for this one you can certainly use anything you want or any sort of topping that you would like. So to make this one, we're gonna use about a cup of Greek yogurt. The recipe definitely recommends using full fat yogurt. I have a non-fat Greek yogurt, so we're gonna give that a try. And to that, I'm gonna add my strawberries. I'm gonna add about a tablespoon of honey to this. And then we're gonna mix this all together. All right, and once this is all mixed together, you wanna put this on either a cookie sheet, or in this case, I'm just using a cake pan just to make it nice and small so it will fit in my freezer, and line it with parchment paper. What you wanna do now is just spread the mixture out to a nice thin layer. Okay, and on top of this, I'm gonna sprinkle some chocolate. Sprinkle that nice and evenly on top. You can put as much as you want or as little as you want. And you can also add other ingredients like granola or nuts. All right, and for the next one, I'm gonna be making these into clusters. So to make this one, it's really similar to the last recipe. I'm gonna scoop in about a cup of Greek yogurt. I'm gonna add my strawberries, and then I'm gonna add my sweetener. So again, I'm gonna use about a tablespoon of honey. And again, you can certainly add any type of sweetener you want. You could add as much or as little as you like. I'm gonna mix this all together. Okay, now that I've mixed it together, I'm basically going to scoop this out into clusters on same cookie sheet or another cookie sheet or surface with parchment paper. So once we have these all prepared, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put these in the freezer. All right, so I'm gonna leave those in the freezer until they are solid. Should take about an hour or two, and I'll come back then and we'll do the next step. All right, so those are in the freezer and they're just about ready to go. So before we take them out, I'm gonna do the next step for the clusters, which is to melt the chocolate. About a cup of chocolate chips here. I'm gonna put this in the microwave for 30-second intervals to melt the chocolate, 30 seconds to make sure I don't burn it, or you could also do this over a double boiler. Okay, our chocolate is just melted, and you just want it to microwave it till it just gets melted and nice and smooth. This took about 90 seconds in the microwave. So now we're ready to dip. So these are nice and solid, nice and cold. So what I want to do is I'm going to switch to a fork here so the extra chocolate can kind of drip off. We're going to dip it in. We're going to turn it over. And since they are cold, the chocolate is hardening pretty fast. I want to make sure that everything is covered. And then we're gonna put it back on the parchment, and we're gonna do the same thing for each one. So I have popped the clusters back in the freezer just to make sure that we get a nice hard shell on the outside. And we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna cut into our bark and give it a try. All right, so we've got the cluster and we have the bark, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start with the bark. You can cut this however you want. If you want to cut it in even squares, or just break it off with your hands. I do taste the honey is coming out very, very strong. So whatever sweetener you use, make sure that it's a really, really good one. It has that nice flavor. The texture's great. Very much like a frozen yogurt. It is delicious, and it's great on a hot day in the summer. Oh, that is really good. All right, now we're gonna move on to our cluster. Nice and firm. Let's go ahead and give it a try. There's a lot of thick layer of chocolate, so I would definitely make sure that you have a nice thin layer. Okay, that is really good. It's nice, cold, great in the summer because it's nice and cold and frozen. Definitely taste the honey, but there's a good ratio of everything. Definitely 10 out of 10. I would recommend making this. Does it stand up to the hype? It does, especially if you like Greek yogurt. It's not going to be as thick and creamy as ice cream is, but it is definitely a Very, very good alternative. Thank you so much for stopping by today and watching today's video. Consider liking and subscribing if you'd like to see more. And leave a comment below if there's anything you'd like to see me cook. And I'll see you next time.